Pistons fans, what's going on? Welcome back to the King and Do Show. We got a lot of topics to talk about today. Pistons off season is in full effect. Summer League is kicking off. Deuce, what's going on, man? What we got to talk about?
What's going on, bro? It's good to be here with everybody, including you. Yeah, man, got a lot to talk about. It's been a very busy off season. One of the most busiest off seasons I can recall in recent memory. So, a lot to tackle, but I'm looking forward to covering everything individually. A lot to get to.
Sir, yes, sir. So we got some topics. First and foremost, it's been all over the internet, all over Twitter, all over Instagram. You've seen the video clips, a lot of discussion going on with the USA men's team, and also Jalen Duran. Jalen Duran has been going crazy, Deuce.
Yeah, bro, he's been going nuts, man. They dropped some highlights from the scrimmage. It was a scrimmage between USA Basketball's national senior team and then the select team. I'm not gonna make a huge deal out of it, but every time I watch him play, bro, I'm just reminded of how high his ceiling is, man. Like every time I see him, everything I see from him, bro, like it tells me he's a top center in the league at his peak. I will say this though, he does need to improve defensively, but I do think that it's getting a little bit out of hand as far as to how his defense really is viewed versus how it really is. And so I just feel like it's getting close to the edge of people saying he never tries, almost not to the point, and that's not the case. His defense, it's just got to get better, and this effort needs to get better. But for me personally, even when you watch the highlights from the scrimmages, like he was actually pretty good defensively on and off the ball. The effort was there, and he did force a turnover, on the baseline, and he actually defended AD straight up in the mid post. So there was definitely some potential you could see that's there for him to definitely be one of the most versatile big men defensively in the NBA if he can miss to it. But he's a monster. He's a monster, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I kind of take part of the blame with at least from our following, man, for bringing it up a couple of times during the season because you've seen him trying back on defense at times here and there. But I never meant for it to go this far. Like some people are just making it seem like this guy is just Luka Doncic bad out there.
Right.
It's not that serious. I think it's two parts. Obviously, conditioning, and also effort. Man, you got to have you got to have a coach that's going to be on your behind and push you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To be that guy on defense that we know he can be, obviously. But to see him in the highlights, hitting the turnaround fades on Embiid. Anytime somebody from Pistons uniform do anything on the beat, I'm gonna love it.
Right.
I despise Joel Embiid still to this day. So
that's your guy.
Yeah, right. For him to go toe to toe, and in that practice, man. Like I said, a lot of things goes on in those practices. We seen it way back with the Dream Team,
right?
Where you seen those practices where they got their butts whooped. But when you look at it and you look at the score just from yesterday, it was close.
Yeah.
It's close. A lot of young guys. You got some 17-year-olds out there. Guys, man, looking amazing. So, it's been some pretty good highlights put on social media, man. I appreciate the opportunity to see those because you don't always see those every year.
Right. And when I was watching him, bro, just like the way he attacks the rim offensively and the way he makes his presence felt in the paint for his age, it's crazy, man. I will say this too. Side note, I think JD is gonna catch so many more lobs this season, thanks to Trajan Langdon. We always talk about like with Cade, right? How Cade needs spacers, right, for the pick and roll offense, and he needs driving lanes and things like that. But JD needs them just as much for that pick and roll offense. The same reason that Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford needed Kyrie and PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. because you can't pack the paint when you got that spacing like that. So I just want to see him continue to get those reps in and really just commit to the defensive side of the ball. I feel like he's like in a position of being so young that he can just focus on becoming a defensive player of the year type of guy, like an AD, and then just let the offense just come to him naturally over time. You know what I mean? So I'm happy that we didn't commit 25, 30 million a year to a Hardenstein or a Claxton when you got a Jalen Duren. I'm not saying that I'm not saying a veteran is bad for him. I'm not saying that at all. But I think it'd be good for him. But just let it be that. Let it be a veteran who's on a different timeline, not one that he's on. Right. So I just want somebody to I just want him to make sure that he understands that he is the future. And I think bringing in a guy similar to him on a similar timeline doesn't signal that. So I'm glad they haven't really made a move like that yet.
Yeah, looking at Jalen Duren, man, it's I don't think a lot of fans are really paying attention to the actual potential that he has. I think that he's going to round out somewhere around some of them centers that you just named. You're not really paying attention. This guy has an opportunity to be special, a special big. And we're looking at a league that's going back to bigs. The narrative was, bigs are dying in the league and everything else. That's so not true today. We also added some help for, that front court today. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, sir.
But his potential is very, very special. Jalen Duren I don't think he even realizes that he has the ability, to do certain things, because I don't even think he realizes that people don't really want to deal with him like that.
Exactly.
People get out of the way. You know what I'm saying? He needs to come in and grow into that. Like I said, we talked about it all the time. He was 19, you know what I'm saying? So he still has some growing to do. He's not even fully into manhood yet. And, in order to use his body and be dominant down there, something that he's going to continue to learn. And I think he's definitely going to peak out to be a special player for the Pistons. We can't hear you, Deuce. Got some technical issues going on. So let's give Deuce a couple minutes to get his audio together. Yeah, so Deuce will be back. Got to get his audio together. Had a couple of issues before the show, trying to get it together. So, it happens, especially when you're live doing this thing. That's what happens. But yeah, man, Jalen Duren has an opportunity to be very, very legit in this league. You see him go up against some of the bigger centers in this league, man, and have some really good games. Man. Especially as a young player like he is. I mean, the sky is definitely the limit for him. You created a roster, a more balanced roster, a roster that makes more sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to help players like him also. Also you add some guys that can stretch the floor at that power forward spot, man, and keep things opened up down there. The pick and roll is something that we will see with Bickerstaff. We will see a pick and roll with Bickerstaff. For the last two coaches, we've been screaming for that, right? We always say, Dwayne Casey, why don't you just run pick and roll? He was just non-existent on offense when we had Monty Williams. So you have to look at that situation, and man, it's going to get a lot better for JD. I can't wait to watch him this season. I think we're going to get some special games out of him. And once he comes into his own, we're going to have us an all-star caliber guy down there at that center spot, man, because you got to look at the timeline of where he's coming in right now, where some of the bigs are. There's going to be some bigs heading out, on the decline side and heading out. So it's perfect timing for him. I'm going to give it a second because it looked like Deuce is coming back in. But in the comment section, man, the potential level, Jalen Duren, where do you think he tops out? Do you think he just tops out as a good player? Do you think he tops out as an all-star? Do you think he has potential to one day be a superstar center? Where do you think JD's going to plateau? I'll say that. How high do you think his ceiling is? Y'all know how I am. I'm not really the ceiling and floor type of guy. I hate using those terms, but if you will, where do you think his ceiling is? Where do you think he ends up, in the next 5 years? Let's say 5 years. Let's give it a 5-year gap. Okay. All right. All-star. Okay. All-star. 20 and 10. Couple all-star games. UCKG. Interesting, man. I would say I would see him as a more agile type of uh, Dwight type of guy. To
Talking
be honest,
JD.
yeah, and he compared him to KG. Reason why I can't compare him to KG,
Mm,
KG literally was like a 7 foot guard, like a legit
yeah,
7 foot guard. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
JD guys, he can dribble the ball a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Improving, but I
Not
would.
quite like, yeah.
Yeah, I would go with a new age style type of Dwight Howard player, man. Like I said, JD is athletic as he wants to be. He's powerful as he wants to be. He's stronger than he even realizes.
Hmm.
I would go there. That's
Like I
what I.
said before, man, I see a lot of, and I hate to use this comparison, but I see a lot of Jermaine O'Neal in
Yeah,
this game. Just the way he plays the game. Plays, big, strong, 15-footer, midi, consistent. That's what I see him being eventually. And defensively, just erasing everything.
yeah,
For
yeah,
sure, for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
what did I miss? Fill me in.
Not much, man. I just was asking, what do they think his potential? Where do you think he plateaus? Do you think he's a all star? Do you think he's just a double machine? Do you think he can be a potential big man superstar? Where do you think he ends up? The next 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years.
I mean, yeah, I think he can definitely get he's 20 years old, man. I
Right.
think that's the thing. We've had him for a couple years. We got him when he was 18. So I think you just got to keep in mind. I know he plays big. He looks bigger. He just looks a lot older than he really is. So I think that's a big part of. He was 23, 24, and we were having these questions about the defense and things like that, getting lost on defense and things like that. Then I think it's a little bit more of a question about what his ceiling is. But the fact that he's still just turned 20 years old and hasn't really scratched the surface is, as long as the development is there. That's the key. It's going to have to be there for him to consistently, because it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process, season over season over season, working on different things. So he eventually can get there. I just think it's going to be very important that he's developed properly.
Yeah. I'm reading the comments and I'm seeing some good names brought up here. Jermaine O'Neal, of course, like you said, I've seen Chris Webber. And looking at how he moves sometimes with the basketball, I can see why some people said that Chris Webber comparison.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's powerful, man, and he's not even tapped into his full potential.
Right.
To me, so yeah. Moving on to the next topic, right? Pistons off season grade so far.
Yeah.
Deuce.
Man, he's been cooking, bro. He's been cooking, man. It's hard for me to give him anything other than an A, but I'm gonna go with an A minus. I'm gonna go with an A minus. But when you look at it, bro, like the Pistons did exactly what a team who offers their best player a max extension does. They build around him, right? That's what the Pistons have done. They built around Cade properly. They added shooting. You got veteran leadership now, and to top it off, you got a guy that Cade wanted to play with on that fits the bill as well when it comes to that. So I'm with it. And I've really just been impressed with when it comes to Trajan Langdon, just the way he's managed the salary cap. You can tell from the moves that they're making, when they're making them, how they're waiting until certain timeframes, come to pass to save money, things like that. So they just seem to really get it and understand the assignment right now. And so the only reason I wouldn't give him an A plus is I think they slightly pay for Tobias at $26 million a year. But if you want to factor in, his leadership and things like that into the $26 million as far as helping grow these guys up, I'm with it. So that would be the only thing, because I felt like they were kind of bidding against themselves with that $26 million a year. But if that was why you overpaid him to go get him, I'm with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna give him somewhere around A minus, between A minus and a B plus, simply because he's just doing things that pretty much make sense, and I can appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Because we can definitely do some things that's that's old Pistons, right?
Right.
He's doing what makes sense, man. And I got to give credit to the guy before him that created the situation that he's using right now.
True that.
Troy definitely left us in a good situation with the cap space and the flexibility right now. So I got to give the man before him that credit.
For sure.
Listen, man. Like I said, we still got to get a GM in here, obviously. But for what it's worth, Trajan has been making some solid moves. Definitely a solid move today. Again, about that in a minute.
And then too, bro, yeah, like, and when you think about it, he's done all of this in about 40 days. All this whole turnover, it's been done in a little bit over a month. He's shown like he's not afraid to make the necessary and decisive moves, bro. Did he make a huge splash? No, but he tried to make a few. You know, I credit him for not being. He's willing to go after guys. You know, Buddy Hield was one of those guys that was on his radar. You know, but he wanted to go to a winning situation. But he tried to go get him. So as we currently sit, we're not a winning situation. So it's a little bit harder than just trying to go get a guy. They got to want to come here too. So yeah, all in all, I'll give him a. I'm really impressed with what I've seen with him, and I feel that Tom Gore's, got this hire right for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, just make some solid moves, making solid moves, things that make sense. So
exactly.
Like I said, as far as the offseason goes, we still got money. It's not over. Obviously, the move today may affect a person or two on the roster, maybe.
Right.
We'll see with that situation, but still got some work to do, and I think he's got a solid job at continuing to round out this team. This team already makes a lot more sense.
Right. 100%.
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot more sense right now.
100%.
So,
okay.
Right.
Let's get to
take the next one. Yeah.
This is going to be a very spirited conversation. Like even in the chat, because I feel like everybody has. Well, not everybody, because some have the same, but a lot of people have a lot of different takes or predictions or opinions on what the rotations should be. So we're going to talk about it. We got a couple of graphics here. I think you and I have a little bit of a slight differentiation in our rotations too, which is cool because nobody has any idea because we have so many different guys that can go in different places. Pause. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here, starting with, who should we start with? We'll start with mine. So here is what I have, what I think the starters could be for next season. Something like this. I thought about it. I made a few changes to it. This is what I settled on after thinking about it. So I got Cade at the point, Jaden Ivey at the 2, Asar at the 3, Tobias at the 4, Jalen Duren at the 5. Everybody in the chat, please voice your opinion in the chat. Let us know what you guys think. This is not per se what I think I would want it to be, but I think this is more so what I think it's just going to be. Because like I mentioned before, I like the idea of having a 2 big lineup, right? Whoever that is that can fit that bill, I would just like it to be a 2 big lineup next to Duren in that starting lineup. But I'm hearing and seeing a lot more that Tobias is looking like he may play that 4. You know what I mean? But I personally would like to have him somewhere else, not the 4, but it is what it is. So that's kind of what I settled on. I think the Pistons may do. So with that in mind, I want to let's go to the chat first. I see the chat just started going crazy out of nowhere when I put that in there. So either a lot of agreement or a lot of disagreement. So let me see what we got here. Let's see what we have. Okay. K Beasley. Okay. Hey Beasley.
Seeing a lot of Fontecchio.
Fontecchio, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that too. Solid line. Okay. Fontecchio starts. Okay. I don't like the. Okay. All right. So this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. And I love it. I knew it was going to be whatever I put in there was going to be. No, that's totally off base, dude. You were tripping. And I love it. So now, King, I want to give you the opportunity to kind of get to your starting lineup. And let me go ahead and pull this up here for you. And then we can go with that. So yeah, these are what you had in mind. A little bit different than mine.
Yeah, and here's the reason why. Okay, first, let's just talk about this, right? Isaiah Stewart. He's the wild card when it comes to what I think is going to happen at with the Pistons starting lineup. If Isaiah Stewart is still on the Pistons team, then I would have to switch my starting lineup. I would have to throw Tobias at the 3 and put Stu at the 4. That's just simply because when you look at the amount from the I know a lot of people love Fontecchio, but you look at contracts, Stu's going to start. Stu's going to start over Fontecchio. That's just the way it happens in the NBA. The guy making the larger contract is not going to be sitting on the bench. I'm sorry. So this lineup that I had, obviously, you bring in Tim Hardaway Jr., you bring in Beasley. championship team caliber guy. You know what I'm saying? Probably the best shooter on your team right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have to throw one of them in, even though I would prefer to see Ivy on the floor and more with Cade.
Okay, gotcha.
I just don't think until we get another backup point guard.
Yeah,
I don't think we just roll with Sasser at
I know what you mean. I feel you on that. Yeah, yeah. Because we've talked about that at length as far as how we feel like Sasser gets pigeonholed at the point guard spot because of his size. If he was 6'4", 6'5", there's no way we'd be saying he's a point guard. Nobody. So I'm with you on that. Here's kind of what I think, though, like something of a remedy for that, as far as still with playing Ivy and K together. So JB Bickerstaff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in his time with the Cavs, he wasn't known for going deep into his bench. He would often go no more than 8 or 9 deep, sometimes even 7 or 8. So I could see a world where Cade and Jaden are getting almost all of the point guard minutes. Yeah, I don't see a world where both Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. are both getting consistent minutes every night. I think it's one of the two of them will get the remaining shooting guard minutes based on situation. You know what I mean? Which I don't think is a bad thing, because, you know, it's good to have that depth. You know, guys get in foul trouble, guys get hurt. So I think having one of those guys, you know, will be more situational and not consistently in the rotation night to night to night. And Malik Beasley, bro, he loves playing with downhill guys. Like when he was with the Lakers, he had LeBron getting downhill, you know, finding him from open looks. You know, the exact same thing with Giannis in Milwaukee. So I think Jaden, who's able to do that same thing from the point of attack, you know, he can do that when you have Jaden at slide him to the point guard spot when Cade goes to the bench, and then bring in Malik Beasley to play the 2, and then allow Jaden Ivey to do his thing with the ball, get downhill, and Malik Beasley's right at home, you know, in the corner or wherever you want to find him. That's why I think, and then that way you allow yourself and Jaden Ivey to get 30 minutes a game. He can still get that time because he's now splitting between the point guard and the shooting guard spot. And we all talked about how he was still learning the point guard spot in the fly when he came into the league. Let him grow into it, right? Getting the backup point guard minutes when Cade sits down. That's why I think it would be the best situation to still have them play together, because maybe long term that is the answer, like how it took JB and Jason Tatum some time to figure it out. Still let them get reps in, maybe not the whole game, but allow them to kind of grow into those roles and still have guys at the ready when you need them.
Right.
Just my take on it.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously Bickerstaff's going to make his decisions, but we're trying to make sense of it, man, because it's literally the way the roster is constructed is just, man, it's not easy to pinpoint who's going to start and who's going to.
It's not. I love it.
I love it too. Good problem to have, right? So
absolutely.
And then, like I said, again, we don't know what the roster is going to be, you know. So obviously, you know, camp is going to be very important.
Ooh, that's going to be a fun time, bro. That is going to be a fun time. Okay, so now let's look at the we got a couple more graphics for this topic, because this is a very fun topic. I saw Twitter going crazy the last couple of days over rotations. So we have a couple more. Just a few graphics we want to pull up as far as the reserves. So this is what my reserves look like. I have Jaden with the second group for the reason I just talked about, right? As far as him sliding to, you know, the point guard off the bench. So I have him there and have Beasley there. Then I have Ron Holland at the 3, Fontecchio at the 4, and Stu at the backup 5, which could now be Paul Reed, depending on how that plays out, which we'll get to later as far as with Paul Reed. But this is my backup 5. And this is not like saying we're going to play these 5 every night backup, because it's not going to happen. It's just looking at the depth chart. This is who I have for my reserves. And then King, I think you had your own set of reserves, right? We're going to pull yours up. Mm-hmm. See what we got for yours. There you go. So here are King's reserves. You got Jaden Ivey with Tim Hardaway Jr., Ron Holland, Fontecchio, and Big Stu.
Yeah, and that's where we at. Like I said, it's just, I mean, before the Paul Reed today, I knew we were probably going to go and get another big. I still feel like we might end up still going to get another veteran point guard. But for the current roster, this is what I selected because it's just, to me, it makes sense. You know, you got Ivy, who's obviously proven he can handle the basketball and play that point guard spot. Mm-hmm. You got him attacking the basket, and the guy in Tim Hardaway Jr., Fontecchio, those guys you can kick it out to, right? Yeah. Asar and Ron Holland is like looking at the same player almost to me. Mm-hmm. So that's why, of course, I got both of those two at that spot. And then you got Stu. So again, Stu becomes the biggest question. Are you keeping Stu on the roster or not? That's the biggest question because obviously you got Paul Reed now.
Right.
So something has to give.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Like you said, there's so many options. I don't think I've ever been this perplexed about what the rotations are going to look like. And it just speaks to, once again, the Trajan Langdon's ability and willingness to just make necessary moves, make splashes, do what needs to be done. So it's a good problem to have. And I'm really, interested to see how JB Bickerstaff is able to figure out how to put all these moving parts together over the course of a season. So, and then finally, I don't know if you got a chance. Yeah, this is what I came up with as far as with our depth. So we got Sasser here. We have Wendell Moore here. We have Bobby Klintman here. And this big, I had created this before we got Paul Reed. So this was already, that kind of answers that question as far as who that other big is going to be. Third center, backup center, that's to be decided. But I think we all agree on that. Those are going to be, as of right now, our depth pieces going forward in case we need it if somebody gets injured or something like that.
Yeah, and and this is why I can see the potential of someone possibly still getting moved, because I don't think Trajan Langdon is going to have this overstacked team like we've been used to seeing over these last couple of years, where we're completely overstacked at spots.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to balance this thing out. So yeah, definitely be on alert. I'm continuing to look at Twitter and see what happens, man, because some relief has to come somewhere.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I can't recall which beat writer it was that said at the time, so I apologize to who it was. But someone told me that after the official presser was over, somebody asked Tom a question about our roster, and what he said was, in the past, we've had way too much money sitting on the bench. Mm-hmm. We need to be paying guys who are playing. So to your point, that's going to be the vision. That's going to be the direction. We're a little bit too evenly balanced now as far as the roster. It's kind of like when you play fantasy football. If you got a bunch of guys in the bench who are never playing, you just got empty points in the bench. You need guys in the game. So that's kind of where the Pistons are at. So to your point, I think that's going to be something that they look to do, is to kind of balance it out even more so that they have more guys who they're paying on the floor.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. So that's all we had. Let me check some more of these comments because I want to see what everybody else is thinking. I think Stu is out. Baja is the GOAT. I agree. I can dig this backup five on both. Yeah.
It's time. I just want to say that before you
said what?
Shannon, it's time. It's time.
Oh, it's
been time for like the last 3
Man, you want to hear some Tomahawk next year.
It's time.
You want to hear some Tomahawk next year.
I love him.
Ron Holland with the Tomahawk. And see, now we got dunkers too. So we're going to need descriptive dunks now, because it ain't just a regular.
Man, the scoop and scores and the windmills.
Count that baby in the foul? You want to keep that going?
It's time, man.
Yeah. See, I think everybody has pretty much the same ideas as far as, okay, I wanted to get to this. Dudes, I think. So look, I didn't leave him out. What I was saying earlier is I don't think you're going to see Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. both getting shooting guard minutes every night. I think it's going to be one or the other. I think it's going to be Cade, Ivy, and then either one of Hardaway Jr. or Beasley. I don't think they're going to both play every single night, because I think Ivy's going to get those backup minutes, or he should get those backup minutes, so he can get 30 minutes a game. So that's why it could be Tim Hardaway Jr. or it could be Malik Beasley. But I think every other night, somebody might be getting a DNP, or maybe 4 or 5 minutes a game, and that's it. So that's why you didn't see Tim Hardaway on mine. Good question, though.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's just my opinion. That's just how I think it should play out. One more. Stu, Ivy. Man, y'all really want BI, don't y'all? Man.
Still on it.
I'm not mad at it. I don't know, man. I feel like we have a chance to be extremely athletic. And I feel like that would kind of just bring us back down to earth a little bit as far as being able to get the ball up and down the floor. Because I feel like that can really be. But we have Ivy, we have Asar, and we have Ron Highland. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if those guys develop any type of jumpers, imagine being able to play those three together. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. I don't know if that's the route I want to go for. I don't know, man. And then he's hurt. It would be cool. I wouldn't be mad at it, but I would just kind of be a little bit concerned about how it could stunt the young guys going forward if we sign him long term. But we'll see. We gotta wait and see.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think we're on the same page as far as the rotations. Okay. Let's get to Summer League, bro.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, is there anything or anybody that you have your eye on in Summer League? I know it's a few guys that we all know are going to be playing. Does anybody stand out? Are you you have your eye on anybody particularly going to Summer League?
It's flat out going to be Clintman. Flat out going to be Clintman. Clintman got game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the caution flag is always going to be where he played at, right?
Right.
Has all the tools, can defend, wiry guy, shoot the ball, athletic, can run, what I'm saying, like Gazelle. So I want to see against some of these guys that are NBA level players in the Summer League. I want to see Clinton go out there and look great. Go out there and look good, man. Fight for the right to be sitting on the end of that bench with pride. What I'm saying? Obviously, we took a chance on him for a reason, right? We need his prototype on this roster. So if we find a diamond in the rough with a Clint, man, that'll make me really happy. Yeah.
I like him too, man. I looked up a little bit of film on him, not too extensively yet. He's a pretty good athlete, man. He does need to work on his defense a little bit, which is natural for a young kid, right? He gets lost sometimes. He gets lost in rotations and switching, and and he gets caught backdoor sleeping sometimes, things like that, like deer in the headlight type stuff, where he needs to get more reps to understand how team defense works and schemes work. But that's pretty much the only thing I saw as far as the weakness. He can really shoot the ball. He's a really good standstill shooter, which is good when you got guys like Jaden Ivey and Kay Cunningham to get the ball to you. So yeah, and he's long and rangy. He's like 6'10". 6'10". He's got a 7-foot wingspan, I think. Pretty good measurables, pretty big hands. So I like him. I think he can come in and like you said, earn his spot and keep his spot. And then he could be one of those guys to where if you need him, he won't hurt you when he's on the floor. He can really come in and help you. So yeah, I like his game. My pick is probably the same as most people. It's Ron Holland, bro. I want to see all of what he could be. I want to see him go out there and just hoop. Because how Summer League is. I'm not looking for him to be, the player of the Summer League MVP. No, I don't care about that. I just want to watch him on the court with other basketball players, other NBA level players. And Summer League is a lot of broken plays, a lot of, you try to run plays, but you got guys trying to learn playbooks and learn each other. So a lot of it is turnover heavy, things like that. I want to see him defensively. I want to see how he gets after it defensively. We've been told he's got a really high motor. I want to see him going after everything, getting most of the 50-50 balls, giving his body up, getting out on the break. I just want to see him in action. I want to see the things that, he's been touted to have. Not that I don't believe it. I just want to see it from my own two eyes on this level. I'm really looking, I look at it forward to with excitement more than anything. Not curiosity, not criticism. I want to see our new guy in action. I think he has a lot to bring to the table. And I want to see over time how that jump shot develops with, playing with Fred Vincent.
Is Sass playing in the Summer League?
I believe so. We have the roster right here. So yes, Sasser is playing.
Okay. All right. So because with this question here, here's my thing with Sasser.
Okay, talk to me.
It's a situation where the Pistons have added some veterans here. They're gonna play.
Mm-hmm.
For me, is who does he beat out? Who does he beat out for minutes is the question. He's a Troy guy. He's not a Langdon guy.
True.
The only way that he can do that is if Bickerstaff takes a liking to what he sees from him.
Mm-hmm.
Summer League is super duper important.
Yep.
For Sasser, because it's the first opportunity for Bickerstaff and his staff to sit and really watch him, in person and see what he has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's super important for Sasser to go and be dominant in this Summer League, because beating someone out for minutes is going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough.
Yeah. I agree with you, and I think DeWine hit it on the head. I think he meant I'd like Sasser to show improvement playmaking. I think that's going to be what will keep him on the floor. We all know he can score the ball, right? But I think all of a sudden we've got a lot of scoring and shooting now on this team with size. You know what I mean? So I think his playmaking and I think his ability to play defense it might be what keeps him on the court. Just solid defense, not making extraordinary plays, staying in front of your man, not fouling, just making the smart plays. I think that will be what keeps him on the floor, at least in the immediate future for him as he's, still developing. But I think that would be the way that he would get in the court. Just looking at who, like you said, who's ahead of him. We know what the scheme offensively is probably going to be now. You know what I mean? We know who the offense is going to get ran through. We know that. So can he fit into that? Can he do those same things for his teammates the way that, our stars are going to be doing? I think that's what's going to come down to for him.
Yeah, most definitely. Like, he's not to fight for it. He's not to earn it.
Yeah.
Not to earn it. It's just what
it should be interesting. Okay. All right, man. We got a few more things for y'all. And I wanted to get to this too. Pistons win total prediction. So we all know last season we won a grand total of 14 games. King, how many more games do you think we will win this year? Or how many games, period, do you think the Pistons will win this year? What is our ceiling?
I'm going from 30 to 35 wins easy.
No, I need a number. I need a solid number.
I'll go and say 33 wins.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 33 wins. I'm going
33.
Simply because, like I said, last season I totally scrapped out of my mind.
Yeah, for sure. We talk about that all the time. Yep.
Total different situation. Roster already makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I can easily see 33 games for these guys. Just based off of the talent that we're continuing to acquire. Like I said, I still don't think we're done.
Right.
So, like the roster making so much more sense is just going to equate to wins, man. That's just what it's going to happen. So, and 33 wins. That's where I'm at.
33. Okay, y'all heard him. He said 33. What? I'm going 35, bro.
Okay.
I'm going 35. I honestly think, bro, like for better or worse, the complete overhaul and turnover in the front office was the first and most important step to move forward, bro. I just felt like a change needed to be visibly seen in order for the team, the coaches, the players, the fans, everybody to move forward, to turn a page. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about it at length, bro. Like, just the whole context around Pistons conversations now are different. It's more like curiosity. We just talked about the roster. This time last year, wasn't nobody caring about, the rotation, the starting lineup. They weren't caring. Nobody really cared. But now it's like, okay, what's the story? We just talked about it for like a half hour. So it's like, it's a curiosity now. You know what I mean? It's not like just hopeless how it used to be or just all negative. So I think the energy shift alone is going to account for us getting more wins because guys are going to be more motivated. They're going to feel like it's a clean, like you always say, throw last season away.
Yeah.
I think those things needed to happen with the front office. All these different things, players coming in and out, the coach. Those things needed to visibly happen in order for everybody to kind of throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be more than just mentally, okay, we're moving on and we're changing. I think people needed to see a visible change.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big reason as to why this team is going to play a little bit differently next year.
Yeah, definitely the energy in the arena is going to be a lot different. We continue to acquire new faces on this team. So it's definitely refreshing for the fan base, and it's guys that make sense.
Exactly.
This roster, so that alone is going to change the atmosphere at Little Caesars Arena. Style is still not good enough for me to get season tickets again.
Just about to ask.
Yeah, we get there,
oh man, them refs about to be hitting you up heavy, bro. As soon as you hit a 1-game winning streak, they're gonna be like, we got an 81 game package.
I'll be on the buddy pass list again. But yeah,
man,
it'll be a lot more fun at Little Caesars Arena. and give some fans reasons to go and see the Pistons play, not just to go and see the opposite player on other teams.
Right. Right. Or to hope that, just having the hope that maybe this is that 1 to 4 chance we win the game.
Yeah.
Like, nah, we don't want that. We don't want that 25% ratio type of mindset. We're not thinking that. I just saw the best. I'm gonna get to this, bro. I'm gonna get to this in a minute as far as what I project for Cade, because that was something that was on my mind too. But just continuing on about the win total, because I know 35 might seem high, but a lot of you guys, I saw some 36, 37. So it may be for the same reasons. I think, bro, a big part of why I say that is just because of the veterans that we've added to this team. I think they alone are going to account for some wins. Even if it's just helping our young core guys understand how to handle in-game situations. You know what I mean? There were so many games last season when you could just tell in crunch time, like they were trying to fall back on something, like to use in this situation. Like maybe it was their college experience or the small NBA sample size that they had, but it was so small, and the NBA is just different. Yeah. Like if we had these types of veterans that we have now on last year's roster, bro, that losing streak doesn't even hit double digits.
Right.
So because there were so many close games that we would just give away. Yep. You know what I mean? So I think just that alone, I'm happy that the Pistons are taking a page out of like the Rockets playbook, right? Who added Van Fleet, Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green, those veterans to help their young guys. I think that was important that they did that. I think it's important that we're trying to do that as well, because we got to have some type of balance.
Yeah. And, just based off of, I just think we can do really well in our conference alone,
Yeah.
It's the Eastern Conference again. So I think we can do a lot better in our conference record-wise. Yeah. With those veterans, just like you said, man, it changes a lot. It's not just that we added veterans. We added veterans that know how to win.
Right.
That's
right, bro.
That will kill you at the end of a game. You know what I'm saying? That will take that shot. You got a couple of options now. If Cade doesn't have the opportunity, he can pass the ball too.
Yeah.
And find opportunities to finish off games, man. So these veterans, obviously, they're used to playing against the top talent in this league. And we have some guys that's championship caliber. We got, some guys that's been there. So
yeah.
That's huge.
It is, man. I mean, you got those situations where, maybe it's a tight game and, Cade gets called for a foul that wasn't a foul, and he's barking, at the ref because it's an important call. And Tobias just pull him to the side, bro. Chill. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about that. Let's go. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Just keeping guys focused on the main thing when it's easy to get caught up in a tight situation, a high intense situation in the moment. Just having that vet there that's been there before to kind of just realign your thinking. Okay, cool. Forget the ref, whatever. Let's go. We're here. Let's go. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I think that alone, as a veteran, is going to be key for us. And then too, bro, I'm thinking about so many more things. I might have to up my total as we go on because I'm thinking about more and more things I might factor into it, right? The coaching can't be worse than it was, right?
Oh, you definitely gonna get some inspiration.
You know what I'm saying?
You got an angry coach that got fired. We've heard the story, right?
Man, what?
With Dwayne Casey, but you got a coach this time that got fired when the entire NBA world felt like that shouldn't have happened. When I seen it, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
because you were nothing before that man got there.
Man.
So he's definitely going to be motivated to prove some things in this league. So that obviously that's going to be contagious. It's going to help everybody out.
If nothing else, because I'm still getting to learn him, JB. One thing I know for sure about him that he has that Monty Williams does not: a desire to coach on the NBA level.
Right.
If nothing else, I know that's the case. I'm not throwing shade, but we all know Monty didn't want to coach when he was here, right? Not just this team, but anybody. He didn't want to coach anybody last year. So coaching the worst team in the league probably didn't help his motivation. But I don't think anybody will honestly say that they felt Monty gave the Pistons 100% when he was here. Nobody would say that, right? Because it just wasn't the case. But JB, on the other hand, bro, he was just fired for advancing his team further than the previous year in back-to-back years. You know what I mean? Like before he got there, they were terrible. and they just got out of the second round for the first time since Bron left, and he gets fired. Like, so if anything, he brings that mentality that I want from my Detroit Pistons coach. That no nonsense, fiery, hard nosed coach where players can grow with him and where he can connect with them. You know what I mean? Like if you ask me, that sounds a lot like a guy over there, named Dan Campbell. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. But aside from the firing piece, it's a lot of similarities as far as what they demand from their players and what they expect from their players.
Yeah. Like I said, I can't wait to see what he does to this team. I think our backcourt is going to be very, very, very problematic in this case.
Yeah.
They really are now because, like I say, he grows backcourts.
Yep. 100%.
I think alone, that is going to help the Pistons win some games, man. Man, I can't wait to.
And then too, bro. Like, Simon, go ahead. I'm going to cut you off.
No, I was just saying I can't wait to watch this team, man. There's so many questions that we need answered.
Yeah. It's the fun time to be a Piston just because we gotta wait and see what happens. One more thing, bro. Like I said, I could go all night talking about the things that I think can go in. I might go 40 by the end of the night. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 36. I'm gonna stay at 36.
Okay, all right.
36. That's my final answer. 36. The shooting, bro. We can't not talk about the shooting. Like this is the most properly constructed team we've seen around Kate since he's been in the Pistons uniform. Right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And
okay.
Important to say because we've had shooters, we had Boyan, we had Burks, but the team didn't make sense.
Right. So in a short period of time, we've seen this turn around. Like I'm sure he's very aware of how much shooting he has around him right now. I think he could average 10 assists this year, bro.
He averaged 7.5 with that roster.
Yes. I think he could average 10 assists, bro. Because like all of a sudden he's got shooters everywhere now.
25 and 10.
20. I was thinking because I think the best earlier asked if K could average 30. He's not going to average 30 this year, but I can see 25 and 10. 24 and 10.
I don't think AK is going to average 30 simply because of the type of player he is.
Yeah.
K passes the basketball too.
Yep.
He's not I think he's going to be 25 to 27 points at the most with a possibility of 10 assists, man. That's a legit thing because if you can do that through that hailstorm, man, come on. Man.
Right. That's what I'm saying, bro. I think like as much as he's been maligned for not being able to get this team over the hump, all these different things and I'm not saying he's absolved from many criticism, but it was just like the amount he was getting. I think a lot of people are going to be eating their words this year, bro, just based on the roster construction alone, just based on how much easier the game is going to be for him because he has a team that makes sense for him now. I think I think he's going to have guys looking. Remember the play when LeBron, not to bring him up, but when he did the fake pass here and then he went this way and it just looked close to. I think Cade processes things like that. I think he processes the game like how Luka processed the game. I think we're going to see some plays where the defenders are looking silly because they think they knew where he was going, but they didn't, and he's just like chuckling on his way back down the court. I'm telling you, bro, like. I feel like this spacing is going to change everything for him, bro. Like, it's going to change everything. I just can't wait to see it. Like, I also think his turnover is going to come down, too, because he's not going to be trying to force things that aren't there. You know what I mean? That's what happens often when you don't have any room to operate because you don't have any shooters. You try to force things on your own. That's tough. And then, too, everything we're saying, bro, applies to Jaden, too. That's another reason why I want him to run the point when Cade sits down. Because we haven't seen what he can do either with this type of snipers around him either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, that may seem like a high number, but I'm going to stand on 36, bro. I think they're going to get 36 games. Isn't it crazy? Like, bro, isn't it crazy how it's not realistic to think you're going to double your win total?
Right.
But we only won 14, so it's not even saying a lot.
Right.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, man. Like I said, that's I can get with that. Yeah, but Ivy's just just as much as important, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's shown that he can, can control the basketball and dish too. So, like I said, him being able to attack the basket, and we all know what type of worker he is.
Mm-hmm.
See what type of improvements, comes out of this work this summer.
Yep.
I've been working on this jump shot, obviously.
Yep.
Everything's going to open up for him.
Yep.
I still have high hopes for Ivy, man.
What, bro?
A lot of fans be trying to throw him in the garbage.
I'm not, bro. Nowhere near, man.
What happened with him was not under, his control. It made no sense whatsoever. So I'm still high on Ivy, and this is a better situation for them both, and I expect them to flourish. So that's why I was saying what I said earlier with Bickerstaff. I expect this backcourt, to flourish. And
look, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we've said it all for the last few weeks, bro. 68 games. I know on paper it might look better with I get it. I just want to make sure, and I'm sure they are, that they're looking at that long enough to say, okay, this maybe not. Let's punt on this and switch this up a little bit. I just want to make sure that the due diligence is done, because I still do think that can work. And I think that's the highest ceiling as far as your backcourt together on both sides of the ball. And I just want to see it. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm not mad at this. I could see that rise above. I could see him 25 with 9 dimes, 6 rebounds. I could see that. 39 from 3. Absolutely. With the shooting that we have now, we were one of the worst shooting teams in the league last year. Easily. One of the worst constructed teams last year. Easily. One of the worst coach teams last year. Easily. And he still had 7.5 assists. That is insane. So yeah, I think it's going to be a fun season for him. I'm happy for Cade. I'm happy for everybody, but I'm happy for Cade now because he has what he needs now. However we got here, I don't even care. I'm just glad that he has it now. He has a proper roster. We just said last week that even if he was playing under just league average conditions, how much better he would look to everybody on the outside. Right. He's getting, at this point, as far as the roster construction, he's getting at least league average now. Yeah, that's fair to say.
And we still got a chance to go past that.
Absolutely.
They got some money, so.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. Okay, so how many wins did you say? I said 36. You said 33?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So we got a few more things, and we're going to call it a night, people. Let's see. Yeah, the news just dropped today.
Yeah.
So this happened a few hours ago. The Pistons claim Paul Reed off of waivers. King, your initial thoughts about this news of Paul Reed being claimed off of waivers?
B-ball Paul.
B-ball Paul.
Reunited with Bias again.
Yeah.
Boy can play.
Mm-hmm.
He can play, man. Here's the thing, though. Again, what does that mean for some of the guys on the roster?
Yeah.
Because obviously you got Isaiah Stewart still on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at how many guys we got that can play the 3 and 4 spot. To me, it means somebody is an odd man out. And when you see rumors swirling about Isaiah Stewart possibly being moved, it kind of makes you wonder. Because obviously he can play the 4. Isaiah Stewart can play the 4. You bring him off the bench at the 4.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the guys that got the contracts need to play.
Right.
That would mean Stu obviously would get some minutes over somebody just for what he's being paid. It's a decision to make at that 4 spot for the Detroit Pistons. They have to make some decision at that 4 spot. Somebody is not going to play, or they won't potentially be on this roster.
Right.
Something has to happen.
Yeah, especially if you're talking Tobias starting at the 4 too. You know what I mean? Just kind of creates a logjam pretty quickly.
Yeah, which
at that spot.
I really don't like that, but
I don't either. I still, yeah. Personally, I just think the better fit would be a big. We always talk about it, but yeah. As far as Paul Reed, he played with the Sixers before coming here. They call, like you said, 3-ball Paul. He's entering year 2 of a 3-year. I think it's $20 $24 million deal. $24 million deal. And so, yeah, quick hitters about Paul Reed. Until I do a little bit more research on him. He's 25. He's 6'9", 210 pounds. Last season, he averaged 7 points, 6 rebounds, and one assist per game, and a block per game in 19 minutes, which is pretty good. A block in 19 minutes is pretty impressive. He shot 54% from the field, 72% from the line, and 37% from three, which kind of goes to your point, King, about some moves possibly may need to be made to give more clarity to this roster. I do think this is a good depth signing. Even if he's a third center or a backup center, I think he's kind of interchangeable. He can kind of be a plug and play guy for you. He's not a great offensive player, but he can get some things done for you. Good defensive player, long and rangy. So I like him. I like his game. I also just wanted to comment on some things that were mentioned by James Edwards in his tweets about this Paul Reed signing. So he says, if the Pistons fit Reed into the room exception, he makes $8 million per year, and the exception is $8 million per year. I think around 18 to 21 million still will be available as far as the cap space after the Pistons made this move. So that's still impressive that we would still have that money after what we just did with Paul Reed, picking up that $8 million a season. So, and then as far as how many games Paul Reed played last year, because one of the big things we talked about as far as best ability is availability, and a lot of our guys last season weren't able to play. He played 82 games last year. So, like, the new additions that we have, that's high on Trajan Langdon's list is availability. You got Tim Hardaway Jr. plays 71 and 79. Tobias Harris plays 70 and 74. These are the last 2 seasons. Malik Beasley, 79 and 81. And then Paul Reed, 82 and 69. So, these guys are available. That's important, to have these guys available to play, for sure.
Also got to take that with a grain of salt because two different situations. Sixers were winning. The Pistons were tanking.
True.
So a pinky nail injury, you have you out.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because but looking at him and looking at Stu, right? Both 6'9". One is athletic enough to defend certain types of centers in this league. The other one is not.
Right.
37% from the field shooting a three. Stu was showing improvement shooting a three, but he wasn't 37. But then you look at the contracts and how much they're making.
Right.
Where you look at the situation and say, okay, if we move Stu, obviously we create more cap space.
Right.
We have a player that's left behind that's pretty much the same.
What is Stu at now? Chat, help me out. What is Stu at? Is he at 12 million or was that Bags? That was at 12. That was at 12 million. I think I want to say 12 or 15. I don't know why those two numbers jump out, but just to your point, because Reed is at 8 million a season. So you would save a few $1 million there. So yeah, it seems like that's part of Trajan's plan. Yeah, relax. I think it is 15. Yeah, I thought, okay, yeah. So Marvin was 12. Okay, so it's 15. So you would shed about 7 million unless you take on another player back with that. So that, if you take that on, that's pretty good. If you're moving Stu out, right? If you're deciding to make a move for him. So yeah, I'm with that. And I also think too, bro, when you think about just as far as the money management, the cap management, I was thinking about this earlier today. And we can kind of close with this. I think this might be the last move that the Pistons make in a while. And I say that because I've mentioned this before too. The CBA now requires that all NBA teams use most of their cap space before the start of the regular season, right? So to be exact, they got to use 90%. Every team has to use 90% of the cap. So 90% of 140 million, that's the cap for every team, is 140. 90% of that, just follow me, is 126 million. So that means you can go into the season with 14 million in your reservoir unused, right? So right now the Pistons have about 18 to 21 left. So they're already like within 7 or 8 of that 90%. So I'm wondering if they're just going to try to do a few more deals here and there just to get to that number, just to get to that 14 million. So they're under that threshold and just kind of sit on it just in case a team at the deadline comes along who's desperate to move a player, that's going to player or move a contract at the deadline.
Which they will.
That 14 million in cap space, that 10% that we had in our reservoir, that may help us to facilitate a trade. You know what I mean? And only have to send like maybe one impact player back because the 14 million is covering a big part of it. And maybe we could also get a pick back with that too. You know what I mean? So if we go into the regular season with no more major moves made and we're hovering around that 14 million available in cap space and we're just sitting on it, that's going to tell me that's what the Pistons are doing.
Yeah.
Just being patient, having just enough to beat that 90% and also have that flexibility cap-wise to wait for that one move if it becomes available. I was thinking about today, just something to keep an eye on.
So to further clarify what, I just mentioned about Stu, it's not that we want Stu gone. That's not the situation. It's just when you see those reports and then you see the type of interest that he was pulling last trade deadline last year, it kind of makes you wonder, if he's gonna be here or not. This is based off of what we've seen that's been put out there from the Pistons.
Yep.
Not them, the organization per se, but the rumors that's out there. So we'll see. Personally, I think with this roster, I still think Stu can definitely help this team. Obviously,
absolutely.
But if happens, it happens. So we'll see. We'll see how this roster shapes out, man.
We'll see, man. We'll see. This is like I said, this is a very exciting time to be a Pistons fan, bro. Because I just want to see, based on what we're going to learn a lot about our coach, his principles, what he values on the court. We're going to see a lot of that based off of the rotations, based off of who he decides to go with. Are we going to say, oh, okay, he's got him in here. Maybe he's looking for more shooting. Oh, okay, he's got a star in there. He's looking for more defense. If he's going to sacrifice some, you know what I mean? So, like, I think we're going to learn a lot about Bickerstaff based on what the final rotation is. That's what he's going to do with the things that he has available to him.
Yeah.
Should be fun, man.
Should be fun.
Anything else you wanted to hit on?
Let me just address this right quick, man. Listen, hey,
what's up?
You saying it like first of all, Stu was not someone who was put into the offense to score the basketball to score 20 points consistently. That's just not what he was.
Right.
You got to look at how many guys were ahead of him that got the basketball and had those opportunities. I'm not saying Stu can be a 20 to 25 point a game scorer, but don't say something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Stu just had the ball in his hand. He was incapable of scoring the basketball.
Right.
It's the offense, right? Which we didn't even have one last season. Let's start with that.
What offense?
Right.
We had a 0.5 offense that we supposedly had last year?
Yeah. Right. And like I said, dude, you don't draw trade interest from the teams that he was last deadline if he's that lowly of a player that you try to pay them to be.
Right. So, exactly.
You don't like Stu, you don't like Stu. That's just what it is, man.
Yep.
Don't do
him like that.
Know your team. Yeah, know your team.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. Yeah, I think we can call it on that, man. Like I said, I'm just looking forward to seeing how this team shakes out, man. And like I said, if no more moves are made, I'm good with that. I think we have a very deep team and it gives us a lot of options. Some of the guys that are here now may not be here all season long. You know what I mean? But that cap space we just talked about, that may be used to move somebody out. So it's going to be fun watching to see who earns matchups. He's starting. Okay. I'm looking for that too, to see who's winning matchups, who's winning roles on the team, even in the second unit. Like who is going to be that guy between Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. that is getting more of those minutes. I'm looking to see that too. So yeah, I think the reason I give it to Beasley as of right now is because he's just a more consistent shooter from distance. That's the only reason I give it to him over Tim Hardaway Jr. Because Tim Hardaway Jr. is more of a playmaker, but we have playmaking. You know what I mean? If you're going to have Ivy or if you're going to have Cade as your point of attack point guard, you don't need another ball. You need spacing. You need shooters. And last season, shooting 41% from three, which Beasley did, that's better than mid-30s. So I think you kind of got to go with the guy who's used to playing in that kind of offense with that kind of guy, downhill guy like a LeBron, like a Giannis when he played with them. Like Jaden Ivey, the same thing. So I think that really it would make more sense for him to get those minutes, at least initially, and kind of just go from there. That's just my take on that, though.
Yeah, consistency is the word. Tim Hardaway Jr. is wildly inconsistent. He's a super streaky guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you look at Beasley, it's consistency there, obviously, especially you shoot 41% from,
right.
Right. I think that's what gets him on the court a little bit more.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be fun, man. We'll see. Because, I think Marvin mentioned this last time that K did say he wanted to play with him. So we'll see how that shakes out too. If there's some chemistry there, or there's just a natural organic
who they can play with.
Right.
And I'm probably sure that K feel the same way about Stu, because obviously they tight, man. So
yeah, for sure.
It'll be interesting to see what the decision is.
Yeah. Last thing, I saw this on Twitter quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Walker. It just depends on. It always depends on the price. You know what I'm saying? And okay, let me ask you guys a question.
They asked for one first.
Right, which we have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to ask the chat a question. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. If we do that, what does that mean for Jalen Duren? Are you saying he's not the center of the future? Because how old is Kessler? He can't be any much older than Duren.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got to be near the same age. I know Kessler's a little bit older, but JD's 20, so that's not saying much. But does that mean that he's your center of the future? I feel like Jalen Duren has a higher ceiling than Walker Kessler. I feel like he can be a better player than Walker Kessler. Feel like Kessler's ahead of him defensively for sure. But I feel like JD's ceiling offensively is way higher than Walker Kessler. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. It's hard for me to really see what the long-term vision would be if you make that move. But what is it you're saying? Are you just having him kind of have somebody to push JD every day to keep him motivated? You know, what is it you're saying when you do that is what I'm trying to figure out. The move on paper is cool because he's a good he's a good defensive center, but what does that mean for your guy who's already in that role long term? That would be my only question. What about you?
Is there a way that, I don't know, man. Like I said, if we gave up on Duren, I would legit be pissed off.
Yeah.
I would be very angry.
Yeah.
Because we just haven't seen the opportunity.
He's 20. Yeah. He's 20, bro.
Yeah. I would be pissed. What did he shoot from three though? What did Kessler? Can he shoot threes?
I don't think so. I don't think he's much of a stretch
at all. So
not that I recall.
It's like, that wouldn't. It just would make just no sense to me. Because his potential is not higher than Jalen Duren's.
That's my thing.
Like, are you really gonna give a first round pick for somebody to come off the bench?
Right. Right. You're essentially saying you're going to start him if you're going to give it the kind of asset. You know what I mean? So I just don't see what message that sends. You know what I mean? If it's somewhere else in your roster where you're a little bit less certain, like a lot of people are less. A lot of people are not quite as certain about the shooting guard spot. Okay, then you go and get your Malik Beasleys and your Tim Hardaway's if you're not certain. But if you know this is going to be your guy in the future,
what can he do better than Durant?
Right.
The only way he's on my team is if he's a backup center.
Right.
And like I said,
not giving that up for the backup center, right? You're not doing it. So that's the only thing I would worry about. It just wasn't. It would seem like just a move to make a move, but it doesn't really. It's like a lateral move, if anything, at best to me, because the thing that Jalen Duren needs the most was his reps. Is he's not getting them.
And competency.
Yeah.
Right. The staff and team. That's it. That's all he needed.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like
on a lot of other teams is a total different player.
Yeah, the same way a lot of these guys are on totally different teams.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think Jalen Duren could be and look like Derek Lively did for the Mavs with space. Offensively, obviously, right? Like they got a ton of space. You know what I'm saying? They got space everywhere. It's spread out. We didn't have any because the paint was packed because they knew we didn't have shooters. You know what I mean? Like, those lobs ain't gonna be there. Nobody's staying home. Everybody's committed to the paint because they know we ain't got no shooters. So Zach LaVine could be a big boost for Cage, but I don't want Zach LaVine, bro. I'm straight on Zach LaVine.
Stop with the.
I'm not mad at it. I understand the logic. I just don't want.
Why do the Pistons fans want our team to always be that dumbass team?
What up, Tom?
Like nobody else, no other team in the league would even thinking about Zach LaVine. But for Pistons fans, we should do it. Why do we love doing that to ourselves, bro? No, I don't want Zach LaVine here. And he's 25 games. Go somewhere else, bro. Like I said, the only trajectory for him now is down. That health is going to get worse.
Right.
It'll get better. It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Don't come here and be that guy, bro.
The only way you would do something like that is if they offer like 4 first rounders or something crazy. Like that's and then I'm just sitting him down.
Yeah.
I'm not even playing him. I'm just okay. We'll take him off your hands. We'll absorb that contract. Which is why that 14 million will come in handy, by the way, right? You got it, right? Having that pushed into that. But like, come over here, have a seat, get comfortable. I'm still playing my main guys. It doesn't change anything for me. I just picked up 4 first round picks. It's got to be something like that. I'm not about to play him for the same reasons I wouldn't bring in Walker Kessler here. I'm not trying to stunt these young guys' growth to where they're only getting 15, 16 minutes a game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to build a team that can actually contend for a long time. I'm not confident in Zach LaVine being able to help me contend for a long time. You know what I'm saying? As far as him being on the court.
Teammate either.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I've heard. So no, bro.
Yeah.
Keep this. Stay there. Stay in Chicago.
Yeah.
Y'all built that. Y'all suffer. Stay over there.
Yeah, that's the bed you made. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. I'm just not doing it. I agree with this. I think right now, you said this before. I think Beasley is a better player than THJ right now. I think when THJ was younger, like maybe like you said 5-6 years ago, when he was a very good and effective playmaker as well as shooter, he can score the ball. He can get some buckets for you. I think he's more so just he doesn't have that same burst anymore like he used to. So it really just more is about just shooting the ball for him now.
He dealt with some injuries too.
He has some injuries as well. So it's just like
the same player. Since
both of their strengths now are shooting the ball, and we know Beasley is better at it. You know what I'm saying? It just to me, that's why it just makes more sense for Beasley to be that guy more so than Tim Hardaway Jr. Unless everybody's just cold one night and then you just need a guy to come in and get in, need a spark off the bench to get buckets. Then I'm looking at Tim Hardaway Jr.
All right. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we agree on Kessler for the most part.
Yeah.
Alec Burks or THJ? That's a good question. Right now,
Alec Burks.
Maybe it's Alec Burks now because he's healthier.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say that, but yeah, I'm with you on that one. Okay, we're gonna call it on that, man. Good show tonight. Apologize for the technical difficulties. I had to relocate real quick as y'all can see. But yeah, we worked it out. Looking forward to Summer League coming up soon, bro. Looking forward to see what Trajan Langdon does or doesn't do going forward. Like I said, if he chills, I'm good because it tells me what we're waiting on down the line for the trade deadline, maybe. But yeah, man, appreciate you everybody coming through, showing up and showing out. Ken, you wanna finish it off?
Yeah, man. Let's get ready for Summer League. Let's get ready for Summer League. Let's watch our young guys out there. Obviously, we'll be looking at camp before you know it. Man, it's going to be a very, very important training camp for this Pistons roster.
Yep.
Who plays and who doesn't. Obviously, still got possibility that the roster can change even more. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Everything that we could so far, but we'll keep you guys updated if anything happens. Look for emergency streams.
Yes, sir.
Emergency videos on both channels. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels.
Yes, sir.
Definitely subscribe to both channels, man, because listen, we
about to be coming.
Yeah, we're coming. We are coming, man. Got a lot of good content coming for you guys, man. A lot of
future things coming too, as far as game experience and everything else. It's gonna get fun around here. So
it is, man. Yeah, one pride. Hey, I'm coming with it too, bro. We both gonna come with the Lions talk for sure. Y'all didn't know I knew my Lions, did y'all? See, y'all didn't know. I had to just kind of baby step it, you know what I'm saying? But we definitely come with the Lions for sure. Oh yeah, we got a nice plan. Yeah, we double duty for sure. So yeah, man. Appreciate y'all for showing up and showing out for you, man. Always good conversation. Always good to get you guys takes on what could happen, because a lot of times your guess is just as good as ours. So we appreciate y'all coming through, man, and showing us love. And until next time, we will see y'all next stream on this Thursday. Detroit versus everybody. Peace.